Red, hello. It's like I've never seen you before. It's like we've literally just met right now, this second. Oh no, you're muted. You're muted. No! Red's dead. All right,
Who are you? That's it. Okay.
Look, this is why we do qualifiers. It's fine.
You get one of those per stream. I'm sorry to use it so early.
Hello, everyone. If you've just been joining us, or you were wondering what the hell was going on just before we played that long video, this is the qualifiers for the Crux Cup, day number 1. We've got 2 days of this ahead before we have the official race next week for, once again, the biggest prize pool of any event in Star Citizen as far as I'm aware. And I have to keep saying that because you never know if someone was like, I actually just gave away 7 javelins. You never know.
Yeah, I want to be friends with that guy.
So we're getting very close to qualifiers time to begin. What we are doing today, we're doing Class B, which we're going to have a quick look at here. So all of these races, or at least a large amount of these races, will be performing today in order to see kind of what times they get their pole positions, as well as just, gauge the competition mostly. So we've got the Aurora division, the Heavy division, and the Open division. Talk a bit about it. What are we looking at, Red?
Yeah, so the Open division, we got a good variety of ships. We've got the Banner Defenders, the Kardzu Wall, the Anvil Arrow. We've got a couple of Saber Ravens, the ever elusive Gladius, 400i, the Avenger Titan, the F7C Wildfire, and 300i sneaking in there. That's within the Open. Times, they do not actually have to meet any specific time. It just has to complete a lap for each of the groups today, right?
Yeah. So the guys today, they're just, it's mostly a practice, but it's also, I believe, to determine a little bit of positioning, as well as like, what is your competition? What are you actually going up against today? And who are you going to have to fight for, those very, very tight corners as you come into some of the sections?
Yeah, and I do have to say, pretty impressed. I'm seeing a lot of Hercules in the 6-minute mark for tracks there. The Saber Ravens at about 4.5 minutes. Those are going to be some times to beat for sure. The fastest we actually saw was Prof Decoy, and the Defender during a practice run got a 3 minutes 25, which is on par with the A-Crux Herald's requirement time. Yeah,
that is faster than the AX2. A little bit too slow for the A-Crux, but it is very fast. Very, very, very fast. Yeah. So obviously they know something about the Defender that we don't, which is going to be interesting because we have a couple of people on the Defender in the Open class for this tournament. We have Prof DK, we have Lave Itch, we have Luigi, and we have Smashly, who a lot of you guys will know from Twitch, the Twitch community. So yeah, it's going to be cool watching these guys. So this is also a bit of a practice for me and Red because we have no idea who we are. EchoBit just messaged us and said, "Hey, you're gonna cast with this other loser." At least that's what he sent to Red. So that's where we're at today.
It's a very apt description here. It's like, who the hell is Croncy?
Yeah, never heard of these
Cronky?
guys. Wow,
Cronky?
Wow, you really doing this? Echo, I quit.
It's done. It's done.
I can't quit. He's holding me hostage. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be getting some qualified times. We will be back tomorrow as well at the same time, watching the A-Crux, Crux 2, and Crux 3 guys going ahead. And it also sounds like we've got the grid set. So I'm going to show you guys the cameras. So we've got 2 cameras today, it looks like. We're going to have a lot of cameras for you next week with a lot of different angles and whatnot. We've got 2 cameras for you today. So we've got this camera here. This is looking right on Kaplan, which is their start, basically. It's where their lap positions begin. And then we've also got this position, which I know who it is, but I forget where it is. Because this was one of the... Oh, something just happened. Someone just chafe.
Did we get a chafe?
I think we got a chafe. And then, yeah, oh, look, more stuff from EchoBit. Look how cool that is. So we got a director comment up there at the top. How sick is that? That's awesome. So they're going to start their formation lap in a second. So they won't be timed, obviously, during the formation lap, but they'll be about to start. So, yeah. Not too long now. So the person we are watching from this perspective if I go to the camera crew, because I will remember the name the second I see it. Ah, Playing Fox. Thank you, yeah. So Playing Fox is at Shimura. Awesome. So there we go. Oi, Jez. No, look, you're not allowed to talk to us through the director's comment, all right? That's not allowed. We're the overlords here, okay? What me and Red say goes.
I thought it was kind of cute.
You can't be giving Jez that much power, Red, all right? You can't let him. You don't understand. He organizes our bar citizens down here. It's not allowed.
Oh, man. Okay. I see why now. That's the last time. We're not acknowledging those
yeah,
anymore.
from now it's all insults, nothing else.
Okay.
So there we go. So we can see Tint and Echo Bit just up there right at the front. So that is the actual like go marker for Kaplan. So if they are going to begin their formation lap, they should be which they are right now. There we go. We got from the director. So they're going to be in Milford and then heading into Kaplan, which we'll see them come in from the left there from these two perspectives. And this actually should be Jez's perspective, I believe, is what we were told. Like I said, we're hoping to get a couple more camera views for next week, possibly even tomorrow. You know, some people. It's qualifiers. Some people can't make it to qualifiers. That makes sense. But if you want to help, if you'd like to help with cameras or anything behind the scenes, then do it, because this is a really fun and unique event, and that'd be cool.
Yeah. Looks like we've got Epic Wink. Is he doing the race formation?
Oh, we have another camera. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Camera 3. Let's go. Let's make a camera.
Gotta say, it's a great interior color. I'm a big fan of it. I can't wait till chat gets to see.
Oh, so should I just not? I guess I better not put it up then, if that's the case.
Why you gotta do me dirty like that, Crux?
All right, there we go. There we go. Awesome. So once again, I'm not 100% sure who this is.
It's Epic Wink in the Asperia Blade.
Yeah, awesome. So, so this is one of the races. So many names to keep track of. Too many of you races.
Quite the lineup coming onto the formation.
Yep. Safety ship. Thank you, Echobit. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we can have a perspective of who's right at the front, which would be nice. So one thing you're going to notice about the Crux Cup as well, once again, if anyone in chat hasn't been familiar with it in the past, it's very much more like a Formula One style event where you actually do have to make sure that you're, taking lines that are safe, you're not crashing into anyone, that sort of thing, or you will get incident reports. You will get punished for that. Now, you're not just going to get eliminated from the game. Yeah. CRG aren't going to delete your account. But, if you do perform too many of these incidents, you will get time penalties, lap penalties, that sort of thing. So it's very much... It's like that. Yeah, you do have to actually be safe, which is also why we have a safety car, because there could be instances of, for example, with the heavy class, where we may end up with, like, a reclaimer stuck in the middle of a platform. Right, and that has to be cleaned up. So it's good that we have these sort of things.
Yeah, It happens. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Now we see the entire crew starting their approach through the platform now.
Yeah, coming on in. So this is the formation lap. Still, basically, once they get past Echo Bit, that's it. It's start time. So you're going to see them start to absolutely floor it in a second. So we can see some times. And I don't know, let's hear. So you've seen some of these people, Red. You've seen what people are flying. Out of the open, what do you think we're going to see out of the open class?
Well, I think those Saber Ravens are going to surprise us.
Yeah. Unsurprising that you would say that.
That ship's got some great atmospheric flight profiles.
So it does.
I think as they're able to push that a little bit harder. Maybe they don't push it too much today. They hold off, and we get some real good tomorrow. Now, the Banu Defender, it does look like it's putting in some good times, and that's impressive. So we'll have to see. It's not one I've had a lot of experience personally with, but I might be taking a closer look at it. I am also a big fan of the 400i. We'll see how Maiden Ariana handles that.
Yeah, it's important to remember that the 400i is very, very fast in a straight line, and this race is mostly straight lines. So that's kind of what you're after, right? But kind of what you were saying, I am also really, really surprised at that Defender time, that 325. That's really, really impressive. So yeah, I think we're probably going to see the Defenders put in some absolutely insane times here. The people that I obviously want to see from the open division that I want to see. Oh no, we already have a ship destroyed.
Minor
debris.
Lavath on his 300i. Destroyed at Kaplan Circuit.
That is unfortunate.
I did think I saw one party marker dropping unceremoniously. So it is confirmed. Our first casualty. We'll hope they can get back in because you can still rejoin the race. Yeah, you can. That is a big advantage that you get in the Crux Cup, right? Is it's still even with this massive prize pool, and even though it is Star Citizen, you do still have an option. We do have a second ship destroyed, AC3 Nightmare. Oh yeah, Ace Nightmare. That makes much more sense. So yeah, Freelancer Dur. It was of course a MISC ship. I think my feelings about MISC ships in general are well known. I think they're all ugly, and I'll fight people.
Wow, absolutely savage already. So yeah, looks like we're gonna have here we go. So I came to this camera at a perfect time. So Professor Decoy, who I believe should have been right in the front of the pack, regardless, they were positioned there, already slamming through Shimura. Oh, sorry, not Shimura. The other one.
Yeah, we have a third Clancy, who is in the Valkyrie, that also has a ship destroyed. So a little bit of a rough start to go. Like, we got 3 ships destroyed right now. Hopefully, those guys have to make it back through, guys or gals, have to make it back from the forests and platforms, get their ship claimed, and rejoin the race in order to get started. So
yeah, it is really good that you do get the chance to rejoin with like claiming a ship and whatnot. But obviously, you're still not happy about that because that's a massive time loss for you. And remember, the whole the whole thing of the Crux Cup is 1 hour, as many laps as you can. Now, today, it's just about getting the best time you can. But 1 hour, as many laps as you can. So if you are losing that time, it can be pretty brutal. We did see last year, there was a couple of situations where some people were doing quite a decent job. They had a good lap lead. They crashed. They lost 2 to 3 laps to their next competitor, and it was basically over.
Did we just see the C2s coming in on, I think it was camera 1. They just passed through the platform.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, we just saw them over on the side there. That right there is an Aurora going through, I think. Appears to be.
Defender sets the fastest lap.
Unsurprising. What are we looking at for that? So that is a 329 in the Defender, followed by, I mean, yeah, we were talking about it, right? The Defender's really good. Ozpenlay, HVC Flying Crabs with a 349, also in the Defender. We've got Trotstar, not too far behind, though, in the Cartual, which I was actually a little surprised by, able to get a 355.
Bacon Dragon coming in with the Arrow at a 357, and HVC Flying Crabs, Levich. I butchered that.
Yeah, don't worry, I did too.
404. Yeah, 404. Pronunciation not found.
Now, yeah, a bit of a rough start for some of our competitors, but yeah, we're seeing some of these guys already come and get their first laps. And once again, like, this is, I would love to hear from EchoBit, like, would they consider allowing the Defender in possibly the AX2, because these times are quite impressive for this race. They might be a bit too good though. That's the problem I'm saying. They're a bit sort of in between Acrux and AX2.
Yeah. All right. Camera 3, we have. I'm not sure what the alignment here is. I'm watching multiple cameras on this side, so it's we're got some good views going through some of those platforms.
Yep.
Yeah, you see the dust kick off of there. Now that dust feature, that was a 316 edition. It actually didn't used to have the environmental effects like that off of the jet wash. Yeah,
it definitely adds a lot to the oh, no, I can't think of the word. I'm having a bad day with words today. Immersion. Yeah, that's the one.
You know what? I feel like if there's one thing this game's all about, it's immersion.
I mean, it's the only thing, right? So here we go. So we got another view of Prof Decoy coming in with a couple of races just behind them. And you can just see the speed difference, right? Yeah. The speed difference between the Defender and these races. Now, that's okay, because they're not necessarily in the same division. But this sort of shows you why we have these divisions, because it gives everyone a chance to fly their favorite ships and not, you know, immediately, like if you're flying a Hercules and you're doing like a 7-minute time or whatever, not just immediately get destroyed by an Crux.
Well, I mean, the one thing about the current racing tracks is everyone's min-maxing, right? They're going for the Archimedes or whatever the meta ship is to beat that maximum time. But splitting up the divisions like this do keep things going. Now, we have a ship destroyed. The Bacon Dragon performed an unexpected disassembly on Shimura platform. Bacon Dragon flying the Arrow, who had 4th place with the track time. We also have a couple of other finishers. We have Captain MD in his Gladius representing the Red Legion. Good job, Captain, at 501. And Akamaru Ronin flying the F-7C Hornet Wildfire at 548.
There's some very nice and respectable times from these guys pulling up, especially in the Gladius. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to pull off a 5-minute, honestly. It's been feeling a bit weird to me recently in Atmosphere, so I wasn't expecting as well. And then there we go. We've got some of the Hercules coming in. With the 7-minute and 5, we've got Euro Trucker. 7-minute and 9, we've got Herbie.
I just have to say, I am glad that they've actually completed a lap there. This is good.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot from Herbie in the last week or so. You know, I've been getting his and Australia's opinions on how the heavy might go for this Crux Cup. And a lot of it has been basically like, yeah, I can get some amazing times, but I'm exploding like 50% of the time trying to inch out a couple of seconds. Because the Hercules is big, and you can get a fair amount of clearance if you fly it right, but it's dangerous, let's say.
Now we've got the Hercules, Herbie, Estrella. We've also had Numenos come in with a Freelancer Dur at 729. AGT Madcat with the C2, Doc Frost also with a C2, and Steve CC with the Aurora putting in the 7:54 lap time.
Yeah, which is our first Aurora time of the day as well. So once again, like I said, you know, the Aurora is one of the more competitive of the divisions, just because, you know, everyone's sort of on the same playing field. And Steve CC is one of the best out there, so very impressed there. And then also, not soon afterwards, we've got Shanks in the Aurora with an 8-minute 19.
Now the LX versus MR, is there much of a difference between the different variations as far as flight profile in the Aurora class?
So, from what I've been told by a couple of the races, there's not really much of a difference. It's mostly a personal preference type thing. You're going to be stripping everything off of it anyway. It should, for the most part, have the exact same profile. But it is 100% a thing we should ask when we do some player interviews next week. So, put that one in your back pocket. Get that one ready. And we'll see what the racers think. Now, I'm going to have a look at a thing. So, this is another one of the graphics. Let's see if this is currently updated to the current times. It looks like it is. It is. So these don't have the times on it, but it is currently updated to who currently has the best times in these divisions. So we can see that Professor Decoy has the current best, then HVC Flying Crabs, who actually have the 2nd and the 4th best time, interestingly enough. But remember, it doesn't really matter. The second player doesn't really matter in that instance. Whoever is places highest in your team. So yeah,
it's good to be carried.
It is. It is. And so I should also be able to. So there's this cool thing. I should be able to interact. There we go. So that's the open. The heavy, obviously, yeah, we saw Euro Trucker punch through. We've got Australia and Herbie, who are both part of Team Punch Buggy. They have currently the 2nd and the 3rd best time in the Hercules, followed by Numenos. And I've been hearing from Australia that Australia is very concerned about the speed that Numenos has got. And it makes sense. So far in their first lap, only 4 seconds difference.
Yeah. Now, I do want to call in a couple of new check-ins. We've got Maiden Ariana with the 400C at 9 minutes 40 seconds. Yuri Plattensturum Savarin with the Aurora MR at 850. Van Del and Shanks all coming in. I love to see that angle of those large ships coming through these platforms. It is
there you go.
Deceptively narrow, and that lighting just Yeah. Oh, you like that slide? Good power slide across there.
I mean,
That's how you know someone's truly in. They've got a mastery of their ship. We do actually an update. Prof Decoy with the Defender. Fastest lap is now 3:29. He's on lap number 3.
Yeah, so I believe actually, yeah, his first lap was still his fastest that he's done, but a 3:29, as we've said, is already phenomenal. Trotster was able to beat his best time in his second lap, as was I need to ask this person how to pronounce their name. Leveach. I'm going to say Leveach.
Leveach.
Okay. And hopefully we're not butchering it. If we are, we apologize, and I'll say to EchoBit that you automatically come first. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we're starting to get some second laps and third lap times in now, which is good to see. They're probably going to, obviously, you can sort of see based on these times, you know, the heavies are probably going to be able to get 8 or 9 laps in by the end of the hour. But yeah, these defenders, they're going to be
that was
doing
a close call with that Aurora.
Oh, I missed that. What happened?
It is a deceptively narrow. There's a bit of a platform lip that they've got to dodge around, and just lighting up the interior there. That Gladius with Captain MD making the run. And now we've got Samura, Ronin, Captain MD, both on their second laps. The Flying Crabs, Levich and Ozpin Lay, both putting up some decent times, getting their third laps in. Do we have anybody checking in for their first lap yet?
I think we're missing a few people. We're definitely missing the Reclaimers. If they were able to attend today, we're definitely missing those. They're probably going to be 15 minutes, honestly. They're going to be quite a long time. We saw Maiden Ariana get through there with the 400i, 9 minutes 40. I'll take it, and there it is right there. Thank you, Maiden, for flying the best ship in the game. I appreciate it. You get some brownie points for me.
It doubles as a can opener.
Yeah.
Chifaroni destroyed on the Shimura platform. Chifaroni was up there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He was in the Aurora MR, completing his second lap.
Yeah, so once again, luckily, you know, they're going to have enough time to go in there and get another couple of laps in. And what did they actually manage to get for their first lap? If I can see, they may not have completed a first lap.
Chifaroni?
Yes.
They completed 8 minutes 19. They were in second spot for the
Shanks.
Aurora class.
Yeah,
Shanks Chifaroni.
No worries. Yeah, they were able to get that one in. Yeah, nice. So yeah, not a bad one to get in, especially with Aurora. Like putting yourself already at second, you get that crash. That's all right. Whatever. You know, you've got another opportunity.
Yeah. Hope you turn it in there. So we have still. I don't think we've seen Ace Nightmare, Sigma Knot, Clancy. Lavath has done.
We do have Ace Nightmare and Lavath have just finished theirs. So the Freelancer Dur managed to get a 13 minute 4 seconds, and the 300i managed to get a 13 minute 7 seconds. I would, if you had asked me, like what the speed difference is between a 300i and a Freelancer Dur, I would not have expected 3 seconds. That is way closer. I thought the 300i would have been absolutely speeding through.
I expect the 300i. I'd expect it to be performing a little bit better. Those are supposed to be pretty decent racers there, but you got to consider atmospheric flight profiles are going to be very different. So
yeah, definitely
keep an eye on it.
So Professor Decoy has managed to get a 4th lap through. This one was a 3 minute 35, so still that 3 minute 29 is their best lap now. But you can see that they're still getting very consistent. All of these times have been within the around the 330, 340 range, and that's really what you want next week. You want that consistency as long as it's not messing up your refueling.
Yeah. Now Ace Nightmare, I think, was one of the ship destruction on starts. He has completed his first lap at 13 minutes. We might see that Freelancer Dur come in. Comparable time put up from Numinos at 6:53. So 13 minutes, 6:53. You know, about 6 or 7 minutes for the platform recovery. Hopefully he gets to pull something through there.
Yeah, definitely.
And Ozpin Lay just finished the 4th lap at 3:46. Last lap was at 3:53, so doing fairly well. We're about just crossed over 15 minutes into the race so far. Yeah, the Car2 All coming in with Trotster, and Levage with 4th lap as well. So those folks putting up pretty good times. Pretty good times.
Yeah, they're all getting that sub 5 minute, sub 4 minutes rather, which is, I mean, that's exactly what you want for the start of the Open.
And surprisingly, our C2s have completed their 2nd lap. We're going on 6:31 about. Last laps are actually some of the best laps, so obviously getting that time going. These guys are doing great.
There you go.
Love to see him through that. Oh, look at the bank on those things.
I am willing to bet that is Euro Trucker and Australia. I am willing to bet that is the two of them right on the top of each other.
Yeah, definitely some competition going on. Let's see if one of the other cameras has got a view there. I'm trying to keep an eye on it.
Well, we have Levich with a DNF in the pit lane. So I'm not. That could be a couple of different reasons. It's most likely that they're just going to have to restart a lap. But there could be something else going on. Hopefully we hear a bit more. But don't worry about it too much. I think they just basically a lap didn't count. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, Levich was running the Defender. So we'll have to see what's going on there.
Yeah, it looks like they possibly have been removed based on our timer. Not 100% sure, but they got a solid 4th lap. They did have a solid time before that happened. Yeah, once again, hopefully we hear some more stuff about it, because it could very much matter for some of the other people in the Open where that player ends up.
Now that C2 combo, it was Euro Trucker and Herbie. Herbie in front with Euro Trucker following right behind. Now we got another C2 going through the platform now. Great looking materials there. Do you have a latest lap from Captain MD and the Gladius putting in 4 minutes 54? Oh, and the Bacon Dragon dead at Providence. Dead at Providence, the Bacon Dragon.
Yep. Yeah. Very unfortunate. Once again, they should be able to get an opportunity to continue on, but I mean, that's a bit rough. It is an arrow. I have noticed as well, as particularly in the Orison atmosphere, the arrow does like to not go where you want it to go a lot of the time. So it's very possible that they've ended up in a situation where you've got a couple of these areas when you come into the platforms where you've got these massive antennas coming out the back, and they are deceptively long and very hard to see until you're basically right up next to them. So if you don't know that, a lot of the time you may head up heading into them before you even realize.
Yeah, quite a dangerous environment there. Now, Vandal exploded in Hangar 8 in the pit lane. That is rough. Vandal, who is on the Aurora MR, Team Omagerd, putting in 7 minutes 45 seconds for his best lap. He is 2 laps in, so we'll see if he recovers there. One strategy I was using when we were doing the practice races is using that active ping and creating a virtual horizon. That outlines the upcoming obstacles and gives you a little bit better view. You know, the limited range on the ship lights is definitely a rough obstacle to go over, but that active ping with highlighting does help point out. Well, looks like we got Akamaru Ronin exploded strut 2. Debris is out of the way. He exploded on the Milford platform. He coming in with the F7C Hornet Wildfire. She F7C Hornet Wildfire. He or she. I don't have the profiles there. Yeah, I
can go through the profiles, but I'll have to click through very quickly. But yeah, they
all good.
It's got to hurt to have that happen in Milford, especially when, you know, at the moment they are currently 6th in the Open, and you know, you definitely want to pull up those speeds, and they have consistently lap after lap basically improved themselves, right? Yeah. One thing I did want to mention, so we did see that, you know, Herbie and Euro Trucker right on top of each other earlier. That actually means Euro Trucker was ahead by a couple of seconds first lap, and Herbie was able to just inch out about 2 seconds ahead when they completed their second lap, which is why we saw them literally right on top of each other as they were coming out of that platform. So honestly, I was saying the Aurora was the most competitive. At this stage, I'm starting to think it might actually be specifically the C2s.
You know, there's not a lot of margin there. The Aurora, you've got a bit more room between pilot skill and just familiarity with the track and a little bit of luck, not crashing into stuff. But those C2s, I think, they're slow moving and consistent, and there's not a lot you can do to really push those much further than what they're already at.
Yeah, no, 100%. And here we can see 3 of the C2s, actually. So we just saw Euro Trucker at the head there. We can see a little couple of pixels of him. And we did see Australia going through Kaplan, and then behind them, Numenos, which is going to make it really interesting. I'm actually really excited to see what these guys can do in the heavy division next week, because the heavy prize, the #1 prize for the heavy, is a Starfarer, or 2 Starfarers, basically, which is a pretty big prize.
Going to be pretty impressive. Now, just a quick call out, Clancy in the Valkyrie did just have a second ship destruction event. That Valkyrie, it's having a rough day.
Yeah, like it is one of my favorite ships in the game, but unfortunately, yeah, it's going to have a lot of a rough time in this arena. One thing that we haven't really talked about a lot, so you've got a lot of options of doing it. Oh, actually, sorry, before we continue that, Professor Decoy has beat his best time. He has beat his 329 by a second. And pushed it up there. Now has a fastest lap of 3:28. I had just assumed that they would just not beat their first lap time at that stage, because they got there on their 6th lap. So very impressive.
Ace Nightmare with a ship collision coming in as well. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, the Valkyrie, I would say one of my favorite dedicated drop ships. Definitely a great one if you're doing some of those dynamic events like Jump Town or just ground assault. You can load up a cyclone on the back of that thing. It's got a great ramp to drop off. I fell in love with it while we were waiting for the Redeemer to be released. It was the pledge loaner for Redeemer owners, and I gotta say, it's definitely worth it. Captain MD, ship destroyed with the Gladius at Providence platform. So Captain MD is destroyed there.
Yeah, another one down there. And once again, it just shows you guys just how brutal some of these turns can be, especially when, once again, you're trying to not just avoid the obstacles, but you need to be safe around players as well. And that sometimes means I just have to ram into this wall. I don't really have a choice. Otherwise, I'm going to get penalized in a worse way. So, yeah, things like that can happen. But they've already got some pretty decent times. They got a 4:49 on their 4th lap, which is pretty decent, it feels like, for the Gladius, as they were able to, get through a little bit there. Yeah, one thing I wanted to sort of mention we haven't really talked about is, so in racing in general, you do have this option of coupled or decoupled. In general, if you're using the really fast vehicles, you should always decoupled. It's really interesting in this race doing decoupled, because remember, this is an endurance race. If you have to spend an hour constantly readjusting your ship to go up, it can get really rough. I tried to do that the other day, just myself. Normally I would go with the heavy class and these guys, but I was like, all right, let's try out. I think I went in the Scorpius, and it was just constantly readjusting over and over and over again. You're losing some thrust on that. Now, overall, it's faster, but it's genuinely physically exhausting.
Yeah, you've got to have a great ergonomic setting. That's for sure. We have an update from Gentleman Jez, race director, saying Hangar 7 refueling is not working. Hopefully they'll get a ship parked there, reserve the hangar, and keep it out of rotation. Yeah, there was another comment I was about to make. Yeah, the decoupled, you need to have a good ergonomic setup in order to make that happen. We also have an update. Hangar 4 refueling is not working. So it looks like 2 of the hangars are out of commission, and we'll need to keep an eye on that. That is one of the wild cards for this race.
It is, yeah. We do have contingency plans. It is possible that we could go back to a stage where we try to use the Starfarer if we were able to get it to work to refuel some people, because we want people to be able to complete the race, because this is one of the more sort of competitive sides of this community. But yeah, I just wanted to mention once again, we just saw some really awesome flying through of a couple of our C2 flyers who really are just right behind each other. They're not letting up. One of these guys is going to get an absolutely insane lap time soon.
That's some white knuckle action there for sure. Just gripping the wheel. Now, it is worth mentioning those larger ships do technically have the right of way if you're working through that. Bleach Boy ran out of juice in Kaplan Tunnel. That, I think we're going to start seeing a couple of these. Refueling, you've got to know your ship and how many laps you can get through, especially if you're boosting, getting those taken care of. So running out of juice, you will drop hot. And which once again, it's qualifier day, so it doesn't matter as much.
But
Yeah.
obviously matters a lot next week when, that could result in you losing 3 or 4 laps to your next competitor.
Yeah, when it's for all the bacon, we're definitely going to be looking at. Now, Herbie is coming up. He's got 6:37 for his last lap, his current lap. Best lap is at 6:31. He is now on lap number 3, first place. And Euro Trucker 6:38, just slightly behind. So those C2s are doing their work.
I just love those. Yeah, I love watching them go through. It looks so good. I mean, it's Crusader. It's literally their ship, so it makes sense that they would have that nice aesthetic when they're flying through that atmosphere. But I don't know, man. It just looks really cool.
It's a phenomenal view for sure. And I gotta say, props to the camera crew out there, getting us all the appropriate angles and capturing the moments for us. Very much making things work.
Yeah, massive appreciation to these guys, especially because they're also doing other things at the same time as well, right? They're doing a lot of stuff in the background right now.
I don't believe it. Nobody multitasks in this game.
Yeah, we do have a question for what the prizes are for the race. So we'll take not a break, but we'll have a look at the prizes again just so everyone can see them. So here is what we're looking at. So once again, yeah, $6,000 plus US dollars total. I think it ended up being something around $6,300, $6,400 US dollars for all of the prizes across all of the divisions. And remember, we have 2 days of racing. So we've got the qualifiers today and tomorrow, and then next week we have the full races for it. So also important to remember that all of these prizes are doubled if you do actually have a team of 2. So if you win the AX2 and you've got a team there, you get 2 600 Eye Explorers. And that's why these have been absolutely amazing prizes.
Absolutely. And it's all a matter of who gets carried. We've got a couple of folks out there doing fantastic work so far today. We've got Frontier Consolidated with Prof Decoy, the defender, who is absolutely tearing it up. He is also paired up with Loud Guns in the Aurora MR. Now, I'm not sure if Loud Guns has made it today. I haven't seen the name pop up yet. But yeah, we'll have to see how it works when part of the team is vacant. Now we've got, let's see, we're up to 21. Seeing if there's anybody new who's registered times. I think still waiting on Clancy to finish a second. His first with he got one lap completed at 19 minutes. Working on coming back for that second after the second ship destruction. So
yeah,
keep an eye out there.
Yeah, should be good to see. And Jez, all good. There is nothing to worry about. This is qualifiers, but if I see you move next week once, well, mate, all hell breaks loose. All right, just want to let you know that.
Yeah. You know what? He's really got to practice this. It's not like we can accept amateurism here.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Jazz. Come on.
Now, is this a reporting error, or did Prof Decoy end up losing some ground? Because we see Trodster completing a 7th lap with car 2 all.
Well, so it's possible Prof Decoy maybe had a collision, maybe had a crash. Probably, actually, what's happened is that Prof Decoy has refueled. So this lap is going to be not great for them, right? But they don't really care that much. So Trosser just has managed to push that extra lap with the car to well, which is also good to know once again. So it's not just about these lap times. There could be an instance where the defender can push these extra times, but it has to refuel one more time than the other ships. And so that's a massive loss of time in the overall round. So it's, can you edge ahead that little sense? It's not just about how fast you are. Fuel matters.
Fuel does matter. And just as that's happening, in the background there, that Hercules coming through right into the sunrise, the lighting, the atmosphere just feels. This is race day. This is race day.
No, this is preparation for race day. This is even better. This is the hype builder, right? Because we get to see all of the awesome speeds that people are going to pull out, and we can think, well, what's going to happen next week? How is this going to go ahead?
Now, I do have to ask, who is that running the landing gear down on the Hercules? Is that current strategy? It
is. So I was just sort of mentioning earlier, if you do go decoupled, you can have an issue where you've got to constantly readjust your the front of your ship. I was told once again by the awesome racers Herbie and Australia that one of the solutions to that, at least for the Hercules, not necessarily every vehicle, but a couple of vehicles, is to put your landing gear down, and you won't lose speed for that necessarily, or if you do, it's incredibly minor. And so it's like, hey, cool, sweet, all right, well, now I don't get carpal tunnel while I'm doing this endurance race.
Yeah, and it is worth mentioning, like, that landing gear has a very different damage state as well. There's a possibility if you collide with something and that landing gear hits first, it's essentially indestructible because the way they've chosen to program the game. If your landing gear is destroyed, you're not able to actually land and secure yourself. So I think they've removed damage maps there. And it's one to keep an eye out for.
Especially with the Hercules, just because like it's already such a massive profile. Just adding that little bit extra, you could like you'll see in some of the platforms there are actual like cargo containers, and you could definitely clip one of those with some landing gear if you're not used to having that out all the time. But I think these guys, they have a lot of practice in. I mean, I don't think we've seen a single incident from the C2 players today, and I'm not surprised because they are really, really doing a great job, and they've definitely gotten their practice in.
Yeah. Got another C2 coming through that platform. Looking good. Good. Now, Prof Decoy has not registered a lap. We've got Trotster that's now on lap number 8. I wonder if Prof Decoy is having issues refueling right now.
Possibly. It could also literally just be, I'm good, right? It could be like, I'm pretty happy with my times. I don't really need to do much more. We had some instances of that in qualifiers last year as well. Yeah. Even in the A-Crux division, people were just like, look, I got my qualifying time. I'm out. I'm going to bed. I'm too stressed. We're good, right? So, I mean, you'll see that happen. It'll be interesting, though.
Yeah. Definitely interesting. It does have the current lead for the fastest lap, so. We have another incident. Maiden Ariana. No! Ship destroyed. There goes the 400i. Now, Maiden Ariana completing 2 laps. Best lap at 8 minutes, 3 seconds. In that open class with the 400i. Will she be able to get back out, run some additional? We're just over halfway. We've got 26 minutes left in 7 minutes.
I'm so sad now. I'm so sad.
Now, this might be a good question for EchoBit and the other organizing team, but what was the confidence level with 318.2 getting pushed Thursday afternoon? This was, I know we had done practices on 318.1, 318.2 was in PTU. There were some go, no-go calls that were made there based on 18.1. What was the decision like there with 318.2?
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing that as well. Not to speak for them, but for the most part, 318.2, for the experience that I've had of it, has been way better. So it's definitely a good thing in one way or the other that we're doing it in that rather than 318.1. But I'm sure there was a mad rush to play it as much as they could yesterday and test the tracks as much as they could yesterday before saying, maybe we have to push it back.
Ooh, we have Chief Aroni, who's gotten a warning for missing a platform. He's got the Aurora MR. Chief Aroni got lost, Aroni. Appreciate the comments from the race directors.
Well, there we go. Here we go. Chief Aroni right now.
Captain MD looks like he just registered a new lap at 14:23. So after the ship destruction, comes back out. So 5 minutes to 14. That was a 10-minute cycle. 10-minute cycle to get a new ship out. Not terrible.
Ozpin was able to get their 7th lap through, as was Professor Decoy. So there we go. We got a 12-minute 59 lap from Professor Decoy. So it looks like he is still continuing. They are still continuing through. Once again, don't know if it was a refuel. Don't know if we maybe possibly missed an incident, but they are back on the track now. And then just as I was talking about Ozpin, there we go. We get a ship destroyed in the 8th lap.
Times. I've got to make sure I know where to.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Wait. Do a thing. Let's high five. I probably should have counted it down. So I don't know. I don't know.
No, hey, like, listen, it's that awkward moment where you got to do like the half handshake, half hug thing, and just, like, they got to shake your hand instead. And you just. It's okay. It's okay.
So interestingly, with all of the issues that we've had and some of the people, crashing and whatnot, so far today, we currently have Herbie as like 4th place. Now remember, it's about lap times. That's the important thing. That's really interesting, Herbie, and Euro Trucker Australia and all these other players in these heavies are actually starting to push on some of these other players. Now, one thing that's important is, once again, they don't need to refuel the entire race. They have enough fuel for the entire thing, so they can just absolutely continue going ahead. So you will see that happen. They are going to pass a couple of these ships in the open division. But it also means, once again, if some of the people in the open division, like the defenders, have some crashes and have to go get their ship back, we can see the Hercules actually like overtake them.
Now we've got an update. The Bacon Dragon on lap number 4 has a ship destroyed. The comment there was he has hit everything but the race director. And the ship has been destroyed.
Well, that means there's one crash left to go then.
Yeah. Camera 1 has one of the C2s coming through again, geared down.
Yep.
Blue paint.
I love the Invictus paint. I love it. There's a couple of paints I love on the Hercules: the Invictus paint and then the Timberwood. Timberline. Those are amazing paints.
Those are pretty good. Now, I have to say, as much as I am a fan of the red, their what was it, the Best in Show from 2953. Those paints, I just feel like were too reflective red. I feel like when you got those on, it's kind of like wearing like a red sequin jacket. It's a little embarrassing sometimes. I'd like a flat, like deep crimson, flat finish.
Yeah, no, that'd be nice. What do you like? So you've got the Raven, like Year of the Monkey red, and you've also got like the Drake red from last year. Which one do you prefer out of those two? Do you like the metallic or do you like the matte, the slightly muted matte red?
The saber. Let's clarify. Yeah. There has not been a skin for the Raven. So the base saber, Year of the Monkey red. That actually was a pretty good one. And what was the other option?
The Drake reds that we got at the end of last year during IAE. The metallic reds.
I would say I take a couple of points off of the metallic reds. I'm, the bright reflective. I don't feel like that's necessarily a good fit for the ships they've picked for it. Now, I'm not a great opinion there, just because I've got a clear color preference.
Yep. The color monster, of course.
Yes, the color of monsters. So yeah, I feel like the previous one from a couple of years ago that I forget the name of the paint. It was on the saber. So, Euro Trucker in your chat saying he's lost a tail. Let's see if that actually helps with his aerodynamic profile. Yeah, that is a case, right? Sometimes you do end up with a couple of these vehicles that in atmosphere just weirdly fly better without certain aspects of them.
No, Jez.
Yeah. He's been stopped for scan. I thought we had gotten the official permits here. Apparently, Crusader Security was not aware of the events happening today and has decided to poke their nose in. So.
Look, we had to pay for all of the prizes. We couldn't afford to, pay off the authorities, unfortunately.
Now, coming back to the Valkyrie, Clancy has completed his second lap in the Valkyrie, coming in with an 18:23 this time. So let's see if we can get a clean run on the Valkyrie. I am partial to that particular ship, so we'll see there. And hopefully Maiden Ariana gets back into the lap. She did get second lap complete most recently at 8 minutes 3 seconds. So
yeah. We also have seen Trotstar has been able to complete 10 laps. So that's 10 laps with no incidents, no refueling yet. I do wonder if the Car2L can actually make it all the way. I feel like I would have, like assuming that I would have to refuel at least once, I would have done it already. But that's, once again, really impressive. I did say I was hoping that someone would bring a ship to the open division that kind of just blew everyone away and didn't really get there, and the Car2L might be the one to give me that wish.
Definitely a sneaker. We did see an update from Clancy in the Valkyrie, right? It's it's the commentator's curse, right? You talk about it. Some collision there. Now, it did not look like a ship destroyed. It was a collision. We'll have to get some clarification on if that means that things are still going for Clancy. Just that there's a collision with debris in the Providence tunnel, not a destruction.
And it was a collision with debris, not with a player?
Yeah, debris in Providence tunnel that they collided with. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, so assuming they haven't been destroyed, assuming that they haven't lost wings, they should mostly be okay. But also, they have the option of, all right, well, I'll go repair and get some good lap times in.
Okay, and we do have an official comment from the race director that there is the debris in that Providence tunnel. They are trying to move it. Do you feel like there's some percussive maintenance going on there?
I mean, yeah, basically. Until we get the ability to use like massive tractor beams, you've just got to kind of ram the debris out of the way for the most part. Yeah. But we have people there to do that, which is good. So a lot of the time, we won't need a safety lap in incidents like that. Someone will just be able to really quickly jump in and get it out of the way. But we may see next week, when we do have incidences of debris, that we will have some form of safety lap, which, if you followed really any form of racing in the past, safety laps can completely change the game, just putting everyone right back, up against each other. So
yeah. And, also worth mentioning, a couple of people in chat saying definitely need the SRVs for a smaller profile, going with a 315p, that Cuddy Black with a tractor beam, and hey, maybe a brave soul out there with a Caterpillar, scooping up the debris, hauling it in, taking it away to be salvaged. I
want to see someone standing in the platform with like the tractor beam rifle that we're going to be getting eventually, just moving debris off to the side.
You guys want to buy any coolers?
There you go. All right, so Trosta has finished an 11th lap now. Absolutely taking it away. But Professor Decoy is getting back up there. So Trosta was like 2.5, 3 laps ahead earlier when Decoy, presumably, like I said, we don't know exactly what happened, but we think that he had to refuel. And now is, once again, using that extra time advantage to get those couple of, 10, 15 seconds every lap to get back up there.
Yeah, and going back through, I'm confirming, I don't see anything in the notification history for Prof Decoy as far as a collision, ship destruction. So that looks like that is a pit stop. That might be a good call out if we put that in future events. Just a comment relating to specific racers when they do their pit stops. It'll be interesting to see when folks are making those runs.
Yeah, here we go. Once again, this Invictus. Does the Invictus skin just go faster? It's kind of what I'm convinced at this point. I think half of the C2s are actually running it at the moment.
It's their new proprietary ship. It's a friction reducing composite that they've coated. So, Bleach Boy, Providence has died. Bleach Boy on Providence platform. Now, Bleach Boy. Let's see, what were they running? The Aurora MR.
Yeah. So as of today, they were the slowest in our Aurora division at the moment, but not by a lot, only by about 20 seconds or so. So still some very, very decent times that they've been having. But they have also, they've had a couple of collisions and they've lost a lot of opportunities to get some laps in. So a bit unfortunate, but they should hopefully be able to get one more lap in, I think.
Previous, we had ran out of juice. That was the previous incident from Bleach Boy on lap 2. Lap 3 now expiring as well. So any ships that are a surprise for you? The current performance just not sticking up. I would think the 300i right now, best lap we've seen from Levath with the 300i has been 5:58.
Yeah.
I hope for something that's got that profile to be a little bit better.
I mean, you got to really remember, you got to compare it to the 350R, which is like the dedicated racer version of the ship, right? So actually a 558, actually not too bad. I think that ended up being pretty good. They had a collision, I believe, on their first lap, so that's why we haven't seen as many laps from them over the course of the of today's qualifiers. So I think a 558 for a 300i, that feels kind of good. You're only a little bit slower. So you're a fair amount faster than the best C2s that we've been seeing. You're a minute slower than the Gladius has been today. So that's pretty pretty good spot to be in for the open division. And you could, you know, collisions depending, you could actually see yourself possibly get there in fourth place or so.
All right. We've got AGT Mad Cat coming in with the C2. Now putting in, we did have a much longer lap at 12:20. Most recent best lap is 6:53, but they're coming in with that C2 as well. Race director comment was that they are unable to clear the debris from Providence. So one more wild card going into that. We're gonna have to have maybe some a little bit more. What's the word I'm going for? A little more attentiveness.
Yeah. Yeah, and do keep in mind, all of the racers will have been told this. All these sort of things, like, hey, there's a little bit of debris in, you know, the second strut of Providence, whatever it might be. So they will be aware of where that is. Plus, it sounds like it's been there for a couple of laps now as well for a lot of the races. Speaking of laps, Trotstar has made it to lap number 12. We've got about 14 minutes left. So, you know, there's another 4 or 5 laps for these guys to get their best times. But still, nothing has beaten Professor Decoy's 3:28, which is an absolutely insane time.
Yeah, and so we've got Trotster, Prof Decoy, Osman Lay, Captain MD with the Gladius actually coming in 4th place. Hoping to see a few more of those defenders pick up in the standings, but we've got 2 there. Of course, Levach with the defender with a DNF. So we've got Cartual, defender, Gladius. Are you surprised to see a C2 in 5th overall position?
Like I said, because they don't have to refuel, not necessarily. I don't think it's that weird just because they can just stay in the air the whole time. You know, you could lose 5 to 6 minutes for a lap based entirely on one refuel. Yeah. And once again, remember, chat, it doesn't necessarily matter if a heavy beats an open. They're part of different divisions. So what I'm not surprised by is the fact that the Hercules are absolutely crushing the heavy division. They are by far and away the best.
Now, the other thing, we've got Herbie and Euro Trucker. They are neck and neck, both completing 7 laps. Herbie, most recent at 46:44, with Euro Trucker at 47:01. So that's 17 seconds difference over the course of 7 laps. We're 45 minutes in, and for less than half a minute difference between the 2 ships there. Quite impressive. Quite impressive.
Yeah, they've been on each other the entire time. I've seen some comments, presumably Euro Truckers, you know, put himself on autopilot and been typing in chat every now and then, saying, oh, you know, Herbie's too fast, way out of the way. No, not at all. You are very, very close to Herbie at the moment and can, in fact, definitely put some competition in for this. Yeah, so do not discount yourself, Euro.
I'd expect to see them get another 2 full laps if things go clean. We've got just under 12 minutes left. Their lap times are 6 minutes 20, 6 minutes 30 for their best lap times. We'll see if they can pull 2 more laps through on each. And they should have time to do that, getting into 9 total. New Bacon Dragon, 4th explosion in the Milford Tunnel. So unfortunately, Bacon Dragon is finding himself on the bad end of the notifications here. Yeah,
a bit unfortunately. But, like, yeah. Everyone, for the most part, has gotten some times in. And remember, it's not a Crux day. So these times are more just, you know, how fast can I go? What does my competition look like? Tomorrow is when we get into the dog days of, like, you actually have to be able to make these times in order to qualify for next week. But it is good to see what these times are being. Professor Decoy is literally just behind Trotster now, 1 lap behind. So really interesting to see that, yeah, obviously the Cartwell has not needed to refuel. I very much doubt it will need to refuel with 11 minutes left. I think we definitely would have seen that happen laps and laps ago. So maybe that extra amount of time that the defender gives is enough to make it get there.
Well, and that's really interesting. I think we need to hear from Trotster as far as where he's at fuel-wise right now. If the Cartual does have that extra fuel capacity, versus, you know, if he's trying to push it to the very limit, if we're going down to 1 or 2 laps at the end, that's definitely it'll be something to watch out for. Race director comment that Hangar 4 is still not working. So again, those ships that don't have to refuel, they've got an advantage because you don't know if that hangar is going to work or not when you go to request it. That's something they discovered through trial and error, and it's a timely error to encounter. So
yeah. And if you're wondering, with the the end of the 1 hour time about how many laps you can get in, the way that it's determined is at the end of the 1 hour, whoever is in the very lead, so in this case, theoretically, that would be Trotster, once they complete their next lap, that's when we start ending. So everyone then, that's their last lap, basically. So technically, it's like, it ends up being like an hour and 4 minutes or so, depending on the people that are coming up behind. But yeah, that determines final lap, and it makes sense because we are a little less than 10 minutes away. So these guys have to really knuckle down if they want to see what they can do against these competitors.
Yeah. Now I am curious to see how some of these racers are going to get through. We've got Euro Trucker coming up through the tunnel, Prof Decoy just right next to him.
Oh,
so
I timed that well. Someone exploded. That is the Freelancer. That's the Freelancer Durst. That's Numinos with an explosion right at the end. So I very much doubt they're going to be able to get another time in, but they had some solid times. In the heavy, they were coming forth. So
Car2Wall just passing through. Yeah, that Freelancer is going to be in a rough shape now. We've got Clancy, who's with the Valkyrie. He's got 2 laps. We've got Maiden Ariana with the 400i. Most recent lap was 33.44. So a costly recovery process, and it does look like that debris from the Freelancer has just cleared its way out of the platform. unceremoniously. Leash Boy, who's got a best lap of 7 minutes 53, most recent at 24 minutes. Some of these lap times, they're as you get that shift destruction recovery, timing that properly is good. And just confirming that was Numinos. Exit of Shimura, the debris has fallen out, but Numinos taking a hit. He had 7 laps with the best lap at 6:46. So we'll see how he does there. But pretty consistent. 6:48 is the most recent. May not have time to get back in. We've got 7.5 minutes left in the race.
Yeah, very unlikely, I would assume. But some pretty solid times. They can definitely be confident that they can be pretty competitive against the C2s. I mean, other than Herbie, they're only about 10 seconds behind the other C2s, right? So they can definitely position... You can definitely hope for a second or a third place position next week, especially because, remember, while today we're looking at lap times, next week we're looking at laps. It's a very different essence, especially when you might have an instance of someone colliding. So, yeah.
And we're coming up pretty close to the time we're going to start seeing those C2s pop in their 8th lap. Most recent lap was at 46.44. We're now 53 minutes. If math serves me well, we're coming up on it.
Yeah, well, it looks like there we go. So yeah, Herbie has completed their 8th lap with a 6. Oh, sorry, that wasn't their best, but yeah, they actually are super consistent. So their best lap is a 6:20.54. Their most recent lap is a 6:20.85. So very consistent from Herbie. I would expect nothing less. They're an absolutely fantastic racer. They're obviously showing they can do that in flying.
Disastrous news for Prof Decoy with a collision right at the end of Kaplan. That is at the end of Kaplan. No debris left behind. Fortunately, it's not going to affect other racers. But during lap 12, a ship destruction. 6 minutes left. Are they going to be able to get back in time? That's the real question. Yeah,
I'd say at this stage they're probably out of it for today, but 12 laps is incredibly good, right? And at this stage, it would still imagine that today was race day. That would still put them in second place, pretty much guaranteed at this point. I don't think Ozpin is going to be able to complete 2 full laps by the time the race completes. They may. And I mean, it's the Defender. If anything is going to do it, it would be the Defender, I think. But you've got to be pretty happy with what your result was there. But once again, Trotster has completed 14 laps, has not had to refuel, has been like a solid 15 to 20 seconds every lap slower than the Defenders, but just doesn't care. They're able to get past that time, not wasting those 3-4 minutes, whatever, refueling.
A 15-second difference on each lap is nothing compared to a timely, time-costing refueling pit stop. Maybe a hangar that doesn't work, anything along those lines. So it's going to be I'd say, a surprise. We're definitely not expecting the Car2Wall to push as hard as it has today.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I am actually another ship worth calling out, Akamaru Ronin with the Hornet Wildfire. Not one that you'll see mentioned very often, but it's a great one. There is a comment. We got debris at the end of the Shimura platform. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. If we have any collisions coming up at Shimura, maybe that'll be one to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. We are approaching the final laps, guys. So we're going to see probably a couple of people absolutely push it. I am curious. One thing that I always like to see in these type of race events is getting really, really close to fuel zero. It's going, oh, I'll just go for it in the last lap.
Yeah. We're taking it to Tulsa. And yeah, Euro Trucker suggested getting an A2. You know, it'll be interesting to see how a C2 versus an A2. No M2s or A2s out here. Everything's got the C2. I think. Is it because it's a loaner for so many other high value ships that aren't quite out there? You know, you talk about the folks that own the Banu Merchantman, which seems like it'll never come out. Some of those other large cargo ships, they put the C2 in place of.
No,
sorry, I'm not bitter at all about the Banu. Thanks, John Crew.
So yeah, once again, to those that might have joined over the course of the qualifiers today, we do actually have some people who have signed up who do have some things a bit larger than the C2s. So we do actually have 2 people who signed up with reclaimers. Now, because this is the heavy division, the open in the Aurora division, they don't need to qualify with times, so they can just come next week and see what they can do. So during race day, we should hopefully, assuming that they are able to attend, we should see 2 reclaimers on the field.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm disappointed we didn't get to see that today, because I will say I would have loved to see how the reclaimers are going to handle these narrow clearance platforms, especially with the massive amount of drift they're going to get in atmosphere with the gravity, how they're able to counterbalance that. And if they can complete a lap in under 30 minutes or so, I think that's going to be a very interesting. I don't think they're going to be setting any land speed records, not by a long shot. But the bragging rights on the line there are absolutely worth it. And there goes the Valkyrie. I'm just so glad to see it complete another lap there.
That was going much faster than I would have thought it would based on the laps that we've seen from Clancy at the moment. So I wonder if we've just seen a lot of collisions and so it's just been, have to keep going through, because that came through really fast.
Yeah, Clancy has had some bad luck with collisions. That current lap was at 17 minutes. That's lap number 3. Now, 2 previous collisions. We'll see if Clancy can get a decent time in here qualifying with a clean run. Hopefully, I mean, there's some debris out there. We'll need to keep an eye on that. And we do see Levath with 300i moving up, 558 with the best lap, coming in at 631, just barely. Now, we're coming up on 1:40 left on the current run, and it looks like our C2s are getting through. Is that Herbie?
That is Estrella. So we've got Estrella and then Mad Cat. Not too far behind, but yeah, Estrella and Herbie are part of the same team. So just assume if one of them wins, they're both in the money. They're both happy.
Now, the race director has called the white flag. Do we want to talk about what that white flag means?
Sure. Go ahead.
Do you know? Look,
yeah, let's. There's a lot of rules that have changed.
So the white flag is that the overall race leader has set the final lap.
Yeah.
The remaining racers must cross the finish line and end the race. So.
Yeah, so this is what we were talking about earlier. I just forgot what it was called. So I swear I know my stuff, chat. They race fast. Go forwards. One thing we haven't talked about a lot recently, though, is the Auroras. So the Aurora division, like I said, it's one of the more competitive divisions because everyone's basically racing the exact same ship. And Steve CC has been really, really consistent for the most part with a lot of their laps. Now the Aurora does have to refuel, I think 2 or 3 times, I believe, throughout the course of the race. But yeah, Steve able to get 7 laps so far, should be able to complete the 8th, I believe. And then yeah, it's a fantastic job. So in second in the Aurora so far, we've got Shifaroni. Shanks, Shifaroni, and then we've got Vandell as well with a 7:35 as their best lap.
Yeah. And a quick comment there, Levath with the 300i has just run out of fuel right near the end. One of those pushing it to the limit, running it to empty, and you know what? It's a hope and a prayer. Turning in the most recent lap at 58 minutes. It was a close one. It was a close one, and yeah, I would say 8 laps. is the limit there for that 300i.
You know what I would love to see though? Love to see someone get really close to the finish line. They don't have enough fuel. And they eject from their ship into the finish line. Just
coast it over.
Yeah, exactly. Someone has to do it. If someone does it, I'll be very happy. I don't even care if you get DQ'd for it. Do it. It'll be funny.
All right. Now, we are past the 1 hour mark.
Yep. Yep. So we're going to see everyone finishing now. And as we've seen, so yeah, we're not going to see much more. Oh, there we go. Trotster
out of the fuel. Pit lane has run out of fuel. Oh, my goodness. At 14 laps completed.
So it has an hour's worth of fuel. That is extremely convenient. I wonder if, because boost control matters a lot for that as well. Like you can use up a lot more fuel that way. I wonder how close it is actually. But being able to get 14 laps in is pretty crazy. Also, it does look like, so we saw Professor Decoy towards the end of their 12th lap actually had a collision. They managed to complete a 13th lap. They did manage to get back in their ship and get that one in there. Which means if they had not collided, they would have been at 14 laps as well, most likely. So that really is like the Defender and the Cartual really are right on top of each other for this race. That's really, really interesting.
And Maiden Ariana has had an explosion on Providence platform, completing 4 laps at 7:48, most recent and best lap. So 400i turning in there. Clancy with the Valkyrie has completed lap number 4. Okay, 7 minutes 5 seconds on that Valkyrie. That's a good time.
Yep.
We'll see how it stacks up with everything else. But Clancy, congrats. That Valkyrie's got a soft spot for me. So
yeah, at the moment that's a really, really good performance in the heavy division. It's only just a bit slower than the Hercules that we've seen. And so once again, if you can get consistent with that, that could be all you need to get you through there. So a great performance there too. So yeah, they're pretty much everyone's starting to finish their last lap here. So let's go through the top. Let's see what we've got. So we'll go division by division. So starting in the open division, we got Trotstar was able to complete 14 laps with the best lap of 3 minutes 47 seconds. Professor Decoy was able to get 13 laps somehow, very, very impressive, after that collision, with the best lap time of 3 minutes 28, which was also the best lap time of today. Then we've got Ozpin Lay, also in a Defender, getting 10 laps through with 3 minutes 46. So that's the top 3 of the open. I'll give the next 3 to you, Red.
We've got Captain MD with the Gladius at 10 laps, best lap at 4:47. We've got Akamaru Ronin with the Hornet Wildfire, 10 laps, 4:34 with the best time. And then coming on later on for the Open, Lavath with 8 laps, best lap 5:58 in the 300i. And Bacon Dragon with 5 laps, best lap at 3:47 in the Anvil Arrow. Behind that, Livage with a did not finish for the Defender. Maiden Ariana with the 400i, 4 laps completed, 7 minutes 48 with the best lap. And that's the rest for Open.
Yeah, so that's all the people, once again, that came today for the Open. We do have 18 people total that have signed up for the Open division, so it's likely that we'll see a lot more people next week, but you can sort of get a guess of, what sort of times we're going to see next week for the Open. And as we talk about that, let's go into the heavy. So this is also one of the player favorites, the viewer favorites is the heavy, because everyone likes seeing a Reclaimer and a Hercules fly through these really small areas. So I'll get you to start off with a couple of the few, Red. How did we go with the heavies today?
Well, and I think it's not quite set. These heavies are still out on the track, the most recent times coming in outside there. Now, for the heavy class, we have Herbie with a C2, 9 laps completed, 6 minutes 20 seconds, best lap so far. We expect Herbie to be coming across the finish line with that 10th lap here in just a couple of minutes. Shortly behind is Euro Trucker, also with the C2. These guys were 16 seconds apart from their most recent run. Punch Buggy coming in just behind that. Punch Buggy with 9 laps completed, best lap at 6:31. Now, Herbie with 6:20, Euro Trucker with 6:24, and Estrella with 6:31, each with heavy. If you want to continue there for the heavy.
I might not. I'm just feeling a little sick. I'm just going to leave the stream for you for just a second.
Okay.
I'll be back in a second.
We've got Ghost Corp, Doc Frost representing Ghost Corp with C2. 8 laps completed, 7 minutes, 1 second best lap. AGT Mad Cat with the heavy C2 as well, 6:38, 8 laps completed. Additionally, on the heavy, Numinos with the Freelancer Dur, 6 minutes, 46 seconds best lap, 7 laps completed. Beyond that, Ace Nightmare, a couple of collisions for Ace, but best lap he turned in at 6:54, 7 laps completed. Beyond that, heavy Clancy with the Valkyrie, a couple of collisions, some bad luck there. Clancy was 7 minutes 5 seconds for the best lap, completing 4 laps overall. Race finished, and it looks like it's going through the updates there. You doing okay there, Clancy?
Oh, I don't know. I just suddenly started to feel really lightheaded, and I was going to sit down for a bit. I think might have been standing up a bit too long. Also, Maiden Ariana, thank you very much for the raid. You did a great job today. Well done. Can't wait to see you next week.
Good work, Maiden Ariana. We were just getting into the Aurora class.
Alrighty. So, yeah, top of the Aurora class, we've got Steve CC. Absolutely fantastic racer. Has been smashing it through in pretty much every other, cup and style of race that we've got around. Managed to finish 8 laps in best lap, 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So, very, very impressive there. The only Aurora to get 8 laps today. Second up, we had Shanks Shifaroni. Managed to get 7 laps with 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Vandell managed to get 5 laps through today with a 7 minutes 35. And I might get you to do the other one. Sorry, I'm just, feeling a bit off at the moment.
Okay, we got up to Vandell with 5 laps, 7:35. The Bacon Dragon, that's in the open. We have Bleach Boy with the Aurora MR, 5 laps completed, 7 minutes, 30 seconds. And that wraps it up for the Aurora class. Now, we will talk here. We just had Doc Frost destroyed at Kaplan. So, right push in the end. That's rough. Rough right at the end to have that happen, unfortunately. But Doc Frost, 4th place in the heavy division with the C2.
Ooh. I hope this doesn't happen next week. What happened to me? What happened to me, Red? Did you poison my drink?
I did. I did, actually. So, Trotster had run out of fuel right at the 1 hour mark as we were about to hit the finish.
Yep.
Prof Decoy, it looks like he did sneak in with an additional lap. So Prof Decoy getting 14 laps with Trotster, tying up that second place in the nice bow there.
Yeah, not bad at all. Able to get that last lap hit.
And overall,
definitely take that.
Captain MD coming in with the Gladius in 3rd place. 4 minutes, 45 seconds, best lap, and clocking in at just 1 hour, 3 minutes.
Yeah, very impressive from a couple of these races. Well, all of the races, really, but watching how much they're able to actually come back from some of these collisions and some of this refueling, which you would think would be absolutely backbreaking, and it felt like it was at the time. Actually able to finish these laps is crazy. If Trotstar maybe hadn't had that collision, Trotster would have only been a lap ahead of Professor Decoy. If Decoy didn't have the collision, they would have been Decoy would have won. Like it's actually so close between the Cartwell and the Defender. And
Clancy actually getting an additional lap in, getting lap number 5 at 6 minutes 49 seconds. That's a new best. I think we were talking about a 7.5 minutes for the previous run. So it turns out we got a couple of good cycles for Clancy.
Yeah, 6:49, if they're able to do that consistently, should put them within punching distance of top 3 in the heavy division. So, not too shabby at all. If they can maybe get a bit better a feeling of the handling of the vehicle, especially like it is a nightmare to handle in this race, the Valkyrie. But if they are able to get a bit more of a gist of the handling next week, we could see a really, really awesome performance there.
Yes, indeed. Oh, the platforms there are definitely one of the wild cards as we get some debris built up over the race course, and of course, one of the other wild cards throwing a wrench into the works there is the refueling mechanics. Whether or not we're going to have all of the hangars working appropriately.
Yeah, exactly. And we've just gotten the confirmation from EchoBit that is race finish. So that is already qualifiers today. Dunsky, let's have a look at the race results here. So we were already talking about this earlier. Oh, excuse me. So we've got, the Open. Truckster was able to get those 14 laps in, completed those 14 laps in 53 seconds and 53 minutes. I hope it wasn't 53 seconds. 53 minutes and 49 seconds. Followed by Professor Decoy in the Defender, also able to get 14 laps in an hour and 4 minutes. And then from Red Legion, Captain MD, your hometown over there, Red. Able to get
Go Team Red.
Able to get 11 laps in an hour, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So absolutely fantastic job there. And Chaos Sandwich, HVC Flying Crabs, like these guys are once again within punching distance of that top 3. So really good job from them. Let's have a look at the next one. Sorry, we have the Mid Nariana in 8th as well. In the heavy division, so this was definitely, at least today, I think the most competitive that we had. But Herbie was able to pull out a pretty decent lead. I think in the second or third lap was able to push ahead there and stayed there pretty consistently for the course of the race. Able to get 10 laps in an hour and 6 minutes. Australia was able to get there in an hour and 7 minutes, but they are part of the same team, Herbie and Australia, so they are just considered first. But Euro Trucker from Calliope Heavy Industry able to get 10 laps in an hour, 6 minutes and 24 seconds. So absolutely fantastic job there. All completely occupied by the C2s at the top there, but we did see that really good last lap from Clancy, so I wouldn't be comfortable yet against those guys.
Well,
that's
and
for sure.
Not to be left out of it, we had AGT Mad Cat coming in,
Yep.
pretty decent lap times there as well, but 6:35, a little bit behind some of those leads. We'll have to see how that plays out if there was a refuel or some other issue. Just checking back on that. I don't see any notification there, so it may have just had a little bit of a bad lap that got recovered. We'll see how it plays out on official race day.
Yeah, 100%. And then we've got the Aurora division, which is going to be one of the most interesting divisions to watch next week. 100%. I'm really excited for. Steve CC, absolutely fantastic racer. I assume if we did not see them in the Aurora division, we would have seen them in the Crux division. They were able to get 8 laps completed in 1 hour, 6 minutes and 17 seconds. So once again, in the Aurora, you're going to see a couple of refuels there, which is why these times, even though 7 minutes, they do have to do that a couple of times. So we also saw Shifaroni. They managed to get that 7 minute 19 second best lap time for them, which we're just hearing now. They beat their best lap time by 7 or 8 seconds. So that's awesome. So well done, Shanks.
Fantastic.
Putting yourself at the moment today, you were able to get that second place position. And then Das Cartel, which I want to say is Vandal. Maybe it's Bleach. Oh, it must be. Oh, yeah, yes, Bleach Boy.
Bleach.
Yeah. That is Bleach Boy.
7 minutes, 25 seconds, 6 laps completed. Done pretty well. So,
yeah, fantastic job there. So there you go. So those are those. Absolutely fantastic race so far. Red qualifiers. Half of the qualifiers are done. We've got to come back tomorrow night, which I think I'm going to sit down for half the stream tomorrow, so I don't start feeling sick and almost like I'm going to, ruin the stream.
It is an endurance race, and I think that goes to the commentators as well. I want to say appreciate you sticking out through there. And of course. Of course. I'm excited. Today was the heavy ones. This was the fun group of ships. The ones that you don't normally associate with speed.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're going to have the Heralds. They're going to set some times. I am excited about that. We're going to see some speed. We got the P72s. We got the 350Rs. The M50s. I see one M50 in there. That I'm excited to see how they're able to pull those together. And then, of course, the AMD Omega, another exclusive ship. Big fan of that one. We've got the Gammas and then the Razors in the AX3. So tomorrow's going to be interesting. We'll see different times for sure, but a lot of the same strategies still apply. Are they going to get clean refueling runs, clean pit stops? Are we going to have debris that's causing issues? And overall, will we have a good, clean lap from folks? We'll need to see, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, not only all that, like, not only do we get to see these really awesome ships, but some of the fastest races in Star Citizen that we have seen crush time trials. We've seen them crush XGR. We've seen them crush, like, the official, like, competitions that Star Citizen, that CIG have done. We've got Splen, we got Shaknu, we've got, like, tons and tons of names tomorrow of absolutely brutal competitive players. And I do know, you know, the Crux Cup is one of those races that they really look forward to in the year, because it's a very unique event, which is awesome to see. So that's going to be a
couple of CIG folks.
Yes, true. We get to see CIG folks crash. Hopefully we get to see them tomorrow, because they currently don't have a time on the board. So hopefully they come in, they get their qualified time. Tomorrow also, that is the other point, is that the qualifiers tomorrow matter a lot more than they did today, because if you cannot beat the mandatory time in the qualifiers, you don't get to race. So that's for the A Crux, you got to get a 3-minute 30 or better. For Crux 1, 4-minute 30 or Crux 2, 4-minute 30 or better. Crux 3, 5-minute 30 or better. So you do actually have times to beat there. That's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to see. CIG have been popping into like a bunch of these races recently. It's been really, really cool. And mostly just because I want to see them get beat.
Can we talk about how cool it's been that CIG has really embraced the community created racetracks? You know, they started with the Snake Pit. That was 317.
Yeah.
Getting the Snake Pit, and now we have a series. We've got 7 different in-game time trial tracks. A lot of these are inspired by the community, the racetracks that folks like XGR Racing have done. You know, we've got the Scarlet Apex and Miner's Lament and things like that. Are it's great to see the community shaping the face of some of these events going off into the future. I'm very excited about it. You'll see me racing a lot. I know I've seen you put up some times there, Croncy. And I'm excited about the endurance race here. And again, thank you to EchoBit and the entire crew for helping organize this. The Crux Cup I think it's going to be a fixture in the SC community for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I don't see EchoBit going anywhere anytime soon. EchoBit's very, very dedicated. So obviously, massive shout out to EchoBit. So you're going to hear, just so you know, chat, you're going to hear us regurgitate this over and over the next couple of, tomorrow and next week. But I want to make sure if you guys ever see EchoBit, you see Algored, you see Gentleman Jazz, you see any of the guys that are working in the back here to make this event as awesome as it is, make sure you say hello, give them a shout out. They are absolute pillars of the community, and they're doing a really, really awesome thing here that they're letting myself and Red absolutely butcher on stream. So absolutely shout out to that. And of course, Red, thank you for being my co-host today. Massive appreciates to that. Guys, make sure you go check out Red Monster SC. Once again, this is going to be a thing that I'm going to say every single day. Literally no one mines better. If you want to do some mining, no one does it better. No one ever.
Yeah. We have a community event every Sunday morning at the Buck Crack of Dawn, the Sunday morning mining session, where we go out and teach people how to mine, in a large group setting. So if you know 1 or 2 things about it, pop in. You can learn something just from watching, or you can help participate. You know, we pay for surveyors, we pay for security, we do crew splits, and makes a pretty great time. And of course, I'm going to start putting in some race times. You know, that's the next one for me, is getting out and getting races. And you know, while it might not be the most profitable, I think it'll be what I spend all my proceeds on.
Yep. 100%. Awesome. So one last thing I'm going to mention again, guys, is there is official merch for the Crux Cup, !merch in the chat. Follow the link, grab yourself one of these cool shirts. We've also got some stuff in there for the Scarlet Apex if you want to get ahead of the game for when that runs, hopefully later this year. And yeah, thank you very much from us. We'll see you tomorrow for more qualifiers, and we'll see you next week for the main event. Thank you very much, guys. See you around.